Hello, Joyful Soul community. This is Letty. Welcome to Joyful Soul. Here we go once again, together forever. Happy whatever day you're watching this video. Okay, I'm not going to date it. I'm not going to give us a time. Um, because this is a timeless message. Timeless. So two new things. Number one, I've got this little microphone. I noticed that on the other couple of videos, my voice was bottoming out, even though I don't know why, because nothing was happening. I was still in the same distance, I was still in the same room. But for whatever reason, I was bottoming out, and you couldn't quite hear what I was saying on my little nuances. So I have the microphone. Hope it sounds better for you. And I hope you can get this message loud and clear into your head and your heart and your being. But also wanted to remind everyone to please click the bell. Please, please, please. The work I'm doing here is really just a work of soul and spirit. I was called to do this. I am going above and beyond my comfort zone to put these together for you guys. So I hope that they are helping you. That is my prayer. That is my wish, is that you walk away from these little 20, 30-minute videos feeling so much better and more, validated, understood, heard, whatever it is that you are needing at this moment. I pray that this time that we spend together will help you to feel those feelings that you're looking for. So today we're going to talk about low frequency, high frequency, um, being in alignment and not being in alignment. I know I mention this. I say these things when I'm doing my videos. I talk a lot about it. But today I'm going to define those things for you so you can have a reference point as to what it is that I'm actually referring to, what I'm talking about. So, as I always say, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And in this time of the ascension that we are going through, this is the end of a spiritual season. So, it doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what faith you are. It doesn't matter whether you're spiritual or not spiritual. We're all feeling something, right? We've all had these moments where we're just kind of not feeling it. We just don't want to talk to that person, or we just don't want to go to that concert or do the same things we were doing maybe 5 years ago. And that is part of this ascension process. So the ascension process is, because we are at the end of a spiritual season, this is a time for everything to kind of just be purged, released, removed. Anything that you used to do or that you felt before, your outlook on things, your opinions of things, your behaviors, they're shifting a little bit. They're changing. You probably are not feeling the same about a lot of stuff, right? You're just kind of, you don't feel like you want to do those things anymore. And you're also probably feeling a lot more of a draw to nature, to being more healthy, to having more peace in your life, more tranquility. Maybe you're feeling like you just like to be with yourself. You don't need all the hoopla, right? You want to just kind of be alone and chill out. But you're also taking stock of things, right? You're also noticing, where you're at in your life, those big questions like, okay, what do I want to be when I grow up? Or how do I want the next 10 years to look, in my experience? How do I want them to be? What do I want to do? Where do I want to live? Those big questions are coming because we are having this experience of ascension. And basically, guys, the planet is moving. The planet has moved into a different part of the galaxy. That has a lot to do with our frequency. And a frequency it's just what it is, right? A frequency is a measurement of whether you're up or down in your energy output, right? What's your frequency? So low frequency is, or being on the negative side of things as far as thoughts and words and actions. That's, or low vibration, right? That's low frequency, low vibration. That really has a lot to do with how you are, how you're presenting in the world, how you're feeling in that moment. Are you feeling fear? Are you feeling sadness? Are you feeling depression, anxiety, resentment, anger, guilt, hatred? Whatever it is. So there's two kind of umbrellas, right? You have fear and then you have love. And only love is real. Okay. Fear is, I changed the acronym for fear anyway, but I'll tell you that at the end. But fear is a fear of moving forward. Fear is not wanting to face something. Fear is, it's not real, right? It is an illusion. We get into these places in our minds where fear takes over, where we're so afraid we can't move forward. We're afraid to make the decision to get another job, or we're afraid to move to a whole new place, or we're afraid to break up, right? A relationship that we've had forever and ever. We're afraid. But that fear, being that umbrella, also creates other feelings, feelings of resentment for not leaving that job, or feelings of anxiety for having to stay in a situation you don't want to be in, feeling guilty for wanting to leave a situation that you don't want to be in, feeling resentment to people who are doing something and who are crossing off their bucket list, or moving to that state they've always wanted to move to, or doing things that you don't or can't do for yourself. So that's that fear side. So that's low frequency. That's a low frequency feeling. When we're not feeling love, and love, if you look at love, this umbrella over here, love is joy. Love is happiness. Love is compassion. Love is understanding. Love is forgiveness. Love is patience. Love is kindness. Love is good. Love is just feeling good, right? You gratitude for things, you appreciate people, you really relish in walking on the beach, or you really enjoy sitting under that tree, right? You feel good. So that's the love side, and that's high frequency. So you have fear, you have love, you have low, you have high, negative, positive. It doesn't matter how you define it. It doesn't matter what words you use or how you label it. The energy behind low frequency and high frequency is what navigates your life. Okay. That is what determines how your day is going to go. That is what determines the outcome of a situation. It determines a lot. And I wasn't that aware of all this until probably about maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I've always been a really, really positive person. I just kind of thought everybody was. I'm also a morning person. So for me, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, hello, right? And I started to realize, as my sisters and I got older, my brother, my daughter, right? And everybody was kind of off in their own world and in their own zone, doing their own thing, that if I called early in the morning, I wasn't well received, right? I mean, not that I wasn't well received, I was, but it was like, oh my God, Letty, geez, really? Do you wake up like that? you know? And I had to learn to kind of tone it down a little bit for certain people because they're not morning people. But I also come in, totally just excited like Tigger. I'm like bouncing and I just have so much to say and I'm in such a great mood. But that's really honestly, truly, you know why? You know why? Because I'm so grateful that I'm alive. I don't know. I was born with this little microchip of perpetual positivity. And so I wake up just excited. I'm excited. And then I have to say that I had started having like sleep issues probably a good 10 years ago. Maybe, 7 years ago. I started having sleep issues. So I have a special pillow that my sister Gabi gave me. Thank you, Gabi, to help me so I don't make noise at night. I'm one of those noisemakers. My husband has earplugs. Poor guy. Oh my. So we're working on that, guys. We're working on that. Okay. We got it. We got to save him. But I started waking up at night just completely like, taking these big breaths. So when I started having those sleep issues and my heart was racing, okay, that's also called sleep apnea, not good. I got scared a few times, right? I was a little nervous. And so I was really grateful that I got to wake up the next day and I was still here on this planet. So I have gratitude for that. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm just excited. I'm excited because I'm alive. I'm still here. I get to still have friends. I get to see people and walk on this beautiful planet. And nothing happened in the middle of the night. So that's part of the reason why I'm always so excited. But I'm also excited because it's a new day. It's just a brand new day. It's like Christmas every day. And I understand that no, not everybody is like that. But so my frequency normally was always pretty high. I didn't have an up and I didn't have a down. I had kind of a steady. But I went through some stuff, right? About 7 years ago, life got really weird and I had these colorful moments. And my frequency was not high. My frequency was low, 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 low. I did experience depression. I did experience anxiety. I did experience feeling shitty, right? And just not liking life. I didn't want to be around. I didn't want to see anybody. I just didn't want to see any friends, didn't want to really go and do anything. So I know what that low feels like. And I know what those low frequency emotions are and how they determine the rest of my day. I saw it. I saw the difference. I experienced the difference. Um, and when I started to pay attention to that, I was not on the spiritual path like I am now. Um, I was still, just kind of doing my own thing. I was going to church, I was singing at church, but I was not, and I had my religion, but I did not have a spiritual practice that helped me navigate things and work on my forgiveness practice. I didn't have a spiritual practice. And a spiritual practice, guys, is whatever makes you feel good. It's whatever brings you joy. It's whatever brings you peace. If that's meditating and on, under a tree, if that's, studying the Abhidhamma Gita, or if that's studying Buddha, or if that's reading poetry or painting, or whatever it is that brings you peace, and whatever you believe in outside of yourself, that is a spiritual practice. So my spiritual practice started to change. I started to journal a lot more. I started to pray differently. I just was really mindful of how I felt in any given situation. I kind of just analyze things a little bit differently. And in that process, especially when I started to do my Course in Miracles, I realized frequency. I realized how I was affecting my day with what I was thinking and how I was showing up in the world, right? So when I would have low days and feeling, really overwhelmed and stressed and anxious about money, or anxious about my body, anxious about my job, anxious about just anything, or salty, right? Feeling a little bitter, a little weird about somebody. Things didn't work out. I had a challenging day. I would go 2 steps forward, things would be good for a couple hours, then I get a call, and then I go 3 steps back. And I was letting my day get out of control. I was letting it get ahead of me. And instead of me getting in front of that day, instead of me getting ahead of it in the morning. So today's topic is going to be about that. It is about that. We're talking about frequency and how you can gently raise yourself out of these low frequency moments if you're having a low frequency moment. If you wake up and you feel completely overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling just totally like the world's just falling on upon you, right? Just falling all over you. And you can't see your way out of a paper bag, then there are things that you can do to help lift yourself up. One of those things is to just take 5 minutes and write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Okay. At any point throughout your day, you can stop for 2 seconds and you can do this, guys. You can do it on your cell phone. Everybody's got a smartphone. You have a little notes thing, whatever. You can do that. When you stop and think about the 5 things that you're grateful for, or 5 things that happened that day that are really good, or 5 things that happened yesterday that are really good, that made you feel good, that made you smile, that made you laugh, write them down. And in the process of doing that, of recollecting and remembering that moment, you shift There's like a little gauge inside your mind that shifts. And you start to think, yeah, that was pretty good. Okay. And then you think of another one. And then you think of another one. And you start to look at everything differently. And when you change the way you look at something, it starts to change. So the day that felt like it was a horrible day now doesn't look so bad. Maybe it's not that black, right? It's a little gray, but it starts to lighten up. Because you lighten up, your frequency is now going from stress and anxiety, overwhelming feelings to, okay, I hope it gets better. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do what I can. So it goes from total yuckiness to hope. And then hope, now you're having a better afternoon. So you're like, okay, well, today's is not, it's not so bad. It's getting better. All right, I'm gonna go home and I'm just gonna relax. I can't wait. So the day's almost over. So now by the time it's 2:30, 3 o'clock, we're starting to see the end, right? We're like, I'm almost there. Well, it's not that the time is passing faster or that things are getting better because time is moving on. What's changing is you. It's your way of looking at it. The way you see everything and the way you're presenting yourself in the world is what's changing. And so that just naturally draws better things to you because you are a magnet. We are magnets. So when I talk about keeping your frequency high, how do we keep our frequency high? Let's say we're not going to start. Let's say we don't start the day bad. Let's just say we start the day normal, but we want to maintain a high frequency. Frequency is a lot more important than we think it is because we're a collective. We are all connected, okay? Whether you believe this or not, we really are all connected. And I've said this in many videos. You can tell how a person feels when they walk into a room. You can tell what kind of energy they're bringing in with them, right? And people, they're a strong force and they're happy. Wow, party just started, right? It's super fun. But if somebody has a really strong energy and they come in and they're pissed off and mad and just going to bring things down. So we've already talked about that. You guys know about that. Well, but that applies to everything. So when you are the ripple on the pond of life, I've said this for years. We are more important in the grand scheme of things in this world collective that we have than we know. And so now you can't unknow what you know. So I'm telling you right now, you make a difference. Your frequency makes a difference in the family structure, in the house, in the town, in the city, in the world. It does, guys. So when you have, let's just say let's just say 1 million people. You have 1 million people being kind and loving to each other, and that just totally creates more kindness and more love and more joy in that experience, in that world. Those 1 million people are now 2 million people that are feeling it because it just expands, right? It expands. What you appreciate appreciates. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So when I say pay attention to your frequency, that's what I mean because you are adding to that ocean. You are adding, it's not one drop doesn't, you can't drown with one drop of water. But if you don't pay attention, you're going to be in a pool of water. And it's all frequency, it's all energy. So we do all contribute. We all contribute in equal portion to this experience. So, high frequency, how do you stay in high frequency? Well, some of us have already started to realize that when somebody calls and is feeling really weird or mad or pissed off, we might not want to stay too long on the phone. It starts to mess with us. We're having a good day. You want to be supportive. And you can say, you know what, I'm totally here for you, but can we table this? Because I have enough energy right now to get through this day. And I will say this, guys, the venting thing, I've done it. Some of my friends are going to watch this video. They're totally going to be like, oh yeah, now you're changing your tune. I used to be a venter. And the one thing that I realized was it does not serve me and it does not serve whoever I'm calling. I am not being nice. I'm just dumping all my crap on somebody's heart. And that's not okay, because then I get them all riled up and they were having a peaceful day. Okay. But I've also been on the receiving end of a venter, right? And someone's just, they're just throwing it all out there. One thing you can do if someone calls and says, I'm having a horrible time, I'm really, really, I just need you to help me right now. Well, one thing you can do, you can be loving, choose love, always choose love, and you're obviously in service to that person. They called you, you're in alignment with their vibration. So you pick up the call. Okay, what you can say is, you know what? Before you go down that road, let's try to find something that is okay for you. Is there anything that's going good for you today? And how can I help you feel more love in your heart? How can I help you feel understood? How can I help you feel heard? What what are you needing from me right now? Without telling me all the drama, what do you need to think? Do you need to know that you're all right? Do you need to know that I believe in you, that I think you're great, that I love you? Ask those questions. And you're helping yourself not receive it, but you're also helping that person not stay in it and not perpetuate more and more and more. I realized, this is how I realized, guys, this was years ago. Um, and I have a thing with the number three, right? Three. If something comes to me three times, if someone says, oh, you got to get that book, and then, oh, you got to get that book, and oh, you got to get that book. Okay, got to get the book. Also messages, right? Those are just that's just spirit, just knocking, right? Tapping me on the shoulder. And they're sending all these messengers with this message to get this book. There's something in there for me. But also on the flip side, let's say I'm having a bad day. I started to notice that every time I tried to call someone, that person didn't answer. Then I think, okay, who can I call? And then I call somebody else. And then their phone was busy. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to call so and so. She always answers her phone. And it went straight to voicemail. I started to understand, I started to look at it and say, okay, how is it possible? All three people, completely different walks of life, different time zones, different work, situations. How is it that none of them answered? Well, then I realized, yeah, because I wasn't meant to lower my frequency in that moment. If they had answered, how would I have lowered my frequency? Well, I was already feeling that. I would have lowered their frequency by dumping on them, but then I would have perpetuated even more negativity because I would have gotten madder. I would have felt judgy. I would have talked crap. I would have been like, well, and guess what? And then what happened? And then guess what happened? I would have just kept swimming in negativity. So I would have lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered. That energy is escaping my body, my physical being, and it's going out into the universe. So that's how can we lower frequency? Guys, judging, gossiping, talking crap, um, not letting go of a situation, going back into the past. I'm super guilty of that for years. Going back and always bringing stuff up from 1987, right? Or 1990. Or I remember that day in 2020 when you said this at this time, and this is how, and this is what I was, because I remember because I was sitting on the couch and da 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 da. And we go into total detail. And we're looking in our review mirror. We're looking in our review mirror, going over everything that happened 1,000 years ago instead of looking forward through the windshield, which is a little bigger, tad, at what is coming, at what possibilities are there, at the joy that is in front of us, the sun, the moon, wherever you are, whatever time of day, are you seeing trees? Are you seeing flowers? Are you seeing happy people? You can't even see it. You're in your forest and you can't see the trees because you're so focused on that little mirror, right? So going back into the past, also low frequency behavior is letting your mind go off, letting your thoughts take you. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You can just in your mind, you're just going over it and over it. You're like a cauldron. You have this boiling pot of stuff and you have all these little zingers that you're going to say when you call that person again, you're going to let them know all this stuff. So that's low frequency. But low frequency is also just, I mean, gosh, it's as simple as just being rude on the highway, not letting someone come in traffic, being kind of a bully on the road. Low frequency is also, somebody asks you to help them and you're like, no, I don't have time for that. you know? So how often are you low frequency? How often are you choosing to stay in that fear side, right? Resentful, salty, kind of not really happy. Somebody happy calls you, somebody in a good mood calls you. Are you excited to talk to that person? Or are you like, "Ah, whatever? Why are you so happy? The world's falling apart. Are you going to knock them, or are you just going to be nice about it and say, you know what, this is my deal. They're okay. I'm not going to rain on their parade. I'm just going to maybe not talk right now, say I have to go and work on myself. Or are you going to just be mean, right? So low frequency behavior is also attacking yourself. Low frequency doesn't have to, it doesn't always apply to people outside of you or to the world outside of you. It applies to you. Okay. So, how are you low frequency in your mind, in your heart, to yourself, in your home? What are you doing to help raise your frequency? Are you staying in low frequency? If someone offers you help, are you willing to take it, or are you just like, yeah, nah, no, 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 no? How often do you say no, and how often do you say yes? So, high frequency, like I said, is being open, being loving, being kind, being patient, having compassion. You know, we never know what people are going through. We don't know what their past is. We've not walked in anyone's shoes except our own. So when you're in a high frequency state of mind, you know that you can see people differently. You're kind of from a different, you're looking at them through a different pair of glasses, right? Rose colored glasses. And you're more patient. You have more understanding. And you're like, okay, they've had they're living in a bad part of town. They just got their car jacked or their house was broken into. Of course, they're having a bad mood. So I'm not going to take anything personal. Or she has a real high stress job. She travels all the time. She's commuting 4 hours a day, two hours in, 2 hours home. So, I'm going to show some compassion today. I'm going to be more loving. I'm going to offer to help out in some way. So those are low frequency, those are high frequency, sorry. Those are high frequency choices, high frequency behaviors. But also high frequency, guys, like just like low frequency. It doesn't have to be outside of you. It could be within you. So when you're home and you're having a quiet moment, or you're going to bed at night and you're saying your prayers or thanking the universe for the day, whatever your practice is, that's high frequency. Okay, that's high frequency. Taking time to just be grateful, taking times to be mindful, taking times to, look at the world and be like, wow, it's all going to be okay. That's high frequency. So I think today's, session is really just about, where are you? Are you choosing low frequency behavior? Are you in a low frequency state of mind most of the time, your consciousness, or are you high frequency? Are you low vibration, high vibration? Are you negative or positive? It's the same thing. It's all just vernacular. Okay. It's just the words change, but the form, the energy doesn't. So, how are you presenting yourself in the world? How are you, showing up? And is it working for you? That's the question. Is it working for you? Is what you are choosing, low frequency, high frequency, is it working for you? And if it isn't, how are you going to change? How are you going to just do some small things, make some tiny shifts, and let yourself just flow? Just go with the flow of this ascension, go with the flow of all the good energy that is out there in the world. And the other thing I would say, guys, if you want to keep your frequency high and you want to maintain positivity and love and, joy in your life, turn off the television. Really, truly, turn off the television. Pay attention to what you put into your brain. What are you contaminating your mind with violent movies, killing, hatred, or are you blessing your mind by watching things that are fun? Are you laughing? Are you, are you watching cute dog little videos, or Are you watching movies that inspire you? You know, what are you doing? So we can make small changes each and every day that help with our frequency. And remember, you are important. You matter. We all make a difference. We all matter. So if we want a beautiful world where there is no more violence, where people work together, where everyone comes together as a community to help and to support and to show love, then we have to pay attention to the energy we put out into that world and into what our frequency is. But I mean, that's just kind of, it's a no-brainer, right? So you should take a look at it. You know, where are you in that? You know, if you want love, be more loving. If you want hope, you know, show people that things are possible. If you want a joyful world, then be joyful. You want a peaceful world, then be peaceful in your thoughts, in your words, and in your deeds, right? We're all connected. We're all connected. So from my little place in the pond, I want to send you lots of love, lots of light, tons of blessings, high frequency, vibration, you know, massive amounts of absolute connection and acceptance and blessings. I'm sending you tons of all that good stuff. And I send it out every single day. And that doesn't mean I don't have a low day. I do. I have moments where this ascension process, we are in a pressure cooker, you know, and there's a lot of energies. And but I know that. And I know that people are doing the best they can. And when they know more, then they can do more. So this is that moment. You can't unknow what you know now. You just filled your head with all this information. So just pay attention to how you present, how you show up. Okay? I have faith and I have love and I have lots of joy for you, for your families, for this world, for everything that we are all trying to accomplish individually and collectively. And in this moment, you know, you are loved, absolutely loved. Mwah. Big blessings, huge blessings, guys. Have a beautiful couple of days, and we'll be back in another couple of days with more from our Joyful Soul community. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Love you. Bye.